believe that all things.
When DC's police chief was tapped for the job 1 year ago, the city was in the midst of a crime crisis. On top of that, Pamela Smith says morale at MPD was low.
Just listening to the officers talk about, nobody cares about them. They come here every day. We keep arresting the same folks over and over again.
1 year later, violent crime is down 33% and property crime dropped 15% compared to the same time last year.
We're seeing crime drop. We're seeing the numbers go down. But you look at Ward 7 and 8 east of the river, homicides in particular, more than half of them have occurred in those wards. So what do you say to people who live in that part of the city where, these numbers really don't matter to them because of what they're dealing with every day?
And I respect that. Perception becomes people reality because that's where they live, that's what we're living in. What I can say is that in those areas, we have seen a reduction, in double-digit reduction in violent crime in both Ward 7 and Ward 8.
Chief Smith credits what she calls crime suppression units focused on homicides and robberies along with new technology. Most importantly, Chief Smith says new laws have been a game changer by keeping violent offenders behind bars and giving her officers broader powers.
I think that legislation went too far. During the George Floyd riots, there were conversations about defund the police, and there was the Metropolitan Police Department didn't hire for a year and a half.
Chief Smith says her department is still feeling the impact. The goal is 4,000 sworn officers. She currently has about 3,300. One bright spot the chief adds, nowadays, fewer officers are quitting.
So people aren't leaving the job quickly, they're staying on, and that's a good thing for us.
A good thing because there is still a lot of work ahead. Chief Smith adds it's about all of what happens in our neighborhoods. Because of where we live and our political climate, her department has to be ready to respond to everything.
We're always concerned about the lone attackers, domestic terrorism.
With 1 year down, Chief Smith says she is ready and more than prepared.
A year ago, you had some people saying, the DC Police Department, it was certainly out of your league. You didn't have the experience. What would you say to those critics now, a year later?
I spent 24 years in law enforcement. What I said before, just give us a little time. I myself, I'm a crime fighter, but I'm also a leader.